Okay, this is Max doing it. I'm doing my problem set 4 video. So this is the word game code. A lot of this stuff at the top, I believe, was already filled in. Let me start from problem 1 on here. Problem 1 was word scores, which looks like this one. Okay, this was fairly simple. Basically, it's just a basic calculation for score on a word. So this is just a for loop. I mean, you start out with score 0 for the word. It's just a for loop that ranges through the word. Basically, it's going to score every letter based on its whatever the value is according to the dictionary that was provided. And then, oh, this is nice. I actually wanted to delete that. I forgot where it was though. And then it's going to add that score up, and then after it gets the basic score for the letters, it's going to multiply it by the length of the word, because that's how that works. And then finally, if you had chosen a word that was the, what do you call it, if it was the same length as how many letters you had, so if you used every letter that you got, it's just going to add 50. That's not part of the multiplier, so it just comes at the end, and then it's returning that score. So that's a fairly simple first one. The second problem was, let's see, this was the one we did, right? I think I just did everything from there down, so maybe I didn't do this one. I did not do that one. Okay, so it's this one that I did. No, it's not. I'll add again. Okay, I think I wrote this one. So, update hand. This one, let me just make sure real quick that I'm actually. Okay, implement update hand. Cool. So, this is basically also fairly simple. I have it make a new hand. I don't know if I need to or not, but just in case I wanted to change something up with that, I went ahead and just copied it over, even though I kind of did it wrong. But this is just making it a new name, so I guess it doesn't actually do that. I have to put a copy here, but it doesn't really make a difference. It's just another range loop that goes through the word, and it's going to basically just take, since the actual hand you have is just like the dictionary that stores the key being the letters you got, and then the actual number is mapped to that key, so how many of them you have. So if you have 2 L's, it'll just be L and then 2. So it's just going to take 1 off of the number every time it goes through the letter, and that's just going to update your list of letters you have left. This is assuming a whole bunch of stuff that gets checked in other operations. Is valid word, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's going to be the third thing we did. So we have another range loop that goes through the word. Let me make sure this is a valid word, so we're checking if the word is valid. Sorry, I've been writing for like 3 hours, so my brain is not here anymore. Right, so this just initializes the current letter that we're looking at. I think, yeah, I did that because I kept having issues here, but I had to troubleshoot this for a while, but I was just kind of being dumb. I was just putting it in wrong. But basically, this was in the actual, what's it called? This was in the actual, like, written thing that came with the problem set to check how many of the letters you have left without returning the wrong thing. So we used hand get to do that, and then this just checks if you have 1 left. If you don't, or if it's less than 1, meaning you don't, you're getting false. Otherwise, you had one, so it's cool, and it's gonna now check the word list to make sure that your word is actually in the word list. And again, it's gonna return true if it is, now that it's done both the checks, and if it's not in the word list, then it's gonna return false. It's just making sure that you've got a valid word in the word list and that you can actually afford it. Okay. Next, calculate hand length, another simple kind of one. This just uses a simple for loop as well. It's just gonna loop through all the keys in the actual hand and just add up the values assigned to the keys. So it tells you how many. I mean, if you want to visually understand it, it's like if you're playing Scrabble, it's gonna tell you how many of those little squares you have in your deck or whatever. So that's just kind of what that one does. Fairly simple. Let's see which was next. Okay, I think it was just the play hand function that came after that. So this one was mostly just like a lot of formatting. You're gonna start with a 0 score, and then we're gonna start a while loop, so that you break out of it if you don't end up with any letters. So if you spell out all the letters you had, it'll break you out instead of like prompting you for another word when you've got 0 letters. Display hand. So it's going to show you your hand. It's just telling you how to work with it. It's input. It's going to break you out if you type a period. What? Okay, I guess. Weird. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at, this is weird, it's confusing me because this is the hand one instead of the game one, and I was expecting there to be more in that if statement, but there's not. So this is going to check if it's a valid word. If it's not, then it's going to tell you it's not valid, print a line, and then basically prompt you again with this stuff. And then if it is a valid word, it's going to update, increase your score. So this just increases the score variable that I made. It's gonna tell you, cool, the word gained you so many points. It's gonna tell you your current score. Hand, it's gonna update the hand. So again, like if you use 3 of the letters, it's gonna remove those 3 letters from your list and then let you try and spell more words with what you have left. And basically it's just going to do that over and over again until you run out of letters or you tell it to stop. And that's like just kind of one iteration of the game. Play game is actually like a loop of the game. You can play it as many times in a row as you want, and it also has some extra functionality. So start with just a basic hand size thing. I didn't need to do that. I could have just written hand sizes at n. I did that in the computer versus user thing, but I just, for some reason, I did it this way. I initialized a temp variable. Quick little, this part at the top is outside the loop just because there's like a retry functionality, but you can't use retry functionality if you haven't done it yet. So instead of doing a whole bunch of like conditionals to tell you like if you've done one before or not, I just kind of like made you play one game outside the loop first so that would all line up well. So this is basically just playing an iteration of the game. It's going to identify a hand. It's going to make temp equal to a copy of that hand, and then it's going to play the game. And then while true, now we're in an infinite loop. It's going to give you, cool, you just got that hand done, nice job, and then it's going to give you these 3 options. That's just another input. If the action is in, so new game, it's going to deal you a new hand, and then make a temporary copy of that hand, because, and then you're going to play a new game. The reason I have a temp everywhere that's copying the hand is because of the retry. So whenever someone decides to retry that hand, you have to be able to go back and get it so it can access that temp variable that will always be holding the previous hand. So as you can see, it's the initialized hand as the temp copy now. Or, sorry, wait a second. Hand equals temp copy. Is that right? Hand, temp copy. Why do I do that? I mean, that actually doesn't make a difference, but I don't think I think I just put temp there, but I'm just gonna leave it. Play hand, again, of course, we're gonna play there and play your retry. And then, of course, you have E for exiting, and that'll break you out of the infinite while true loop. So this was just part of the build. So this is how the game works. Of course, enter a word. So it's gonna start us with some letters. Uh-oh. I'm not good at this game. Sob. Nice. Gonna break out of it. Go for a retry. Probably not the best idea because I'm not seeing much. I'd have Bezoar if there was an R. I feel like I get a Q like every time. And I never get a U. Anyways, I'm just gonna skip through this because I'm clearly very bad and I don't know how to do it. You can go in to get a new one. So we're not even gonna subject anyone to having to watch me do this anymore. And okay, we can exit as well. It should show most functionality. Cool. So that'll exit you out. And then down here we have the next thing. I had to copy paste that a lot of the functions from up there down here because the imports weren't working no matter what I tried, and there wasn't anything in the nothing in the question like QA things on there helped, so I just copied it in. But this is just the computer playing or you playing. It's very similar. I mean, you basically have the same kind of system as play game in the other function. I mean, in the other in PS4A, but instead in PS4B now we are basically just gonna, in all the same situations, prompt the user as well. Do you want the computer to play, or do you want the user to play? Well, I guess I did that backwards, computer or user. And then it will just use, I mean, the functions are the same. They just, you know how to write any of the computer stuff, so basically it's just another input called a comp or user, and it's basically the exact same function with that added on all the different iteration things. So I'm not going to subject you to any more of me playing, but that should be everything. I tried copying in a new version of PS4A right here, of the version that I wrote after I finished it, but that also didn't help. For some reason, if I tried to, it was like from PS4A import all, and it just like wasn't working. Okay, that is a bad look. Okay, there it is. So I don't know. But I just kind of did the funky way around that for now. And yeah, that is my code. Thank you.